Zach is back. It's the Zach Gelb Show on Fox Sports 920 The Jersey.
Football Friday, baby. Time right now in the Princeton Orthopedic Associates Studios, 441. This is the Zach Gelb Show, 609-919-9200. Those are the numbers you need to punch on in to get on board to talk some football, whether it's the Giants and the Bengals, Jets, Rams, or the big game, Sunday, Lincoln Financial Field. I call it a must-win for the Philadelphia Eagles going up against Atlanta Falcons. Birds haven't lost a game at home yet, so now let's go to Atlanta. John Kincade, a Temple alum, Eagles fan, but an Atlanta talk show host, joins us right now from 680 The Fan and also CBS Sports Radio nationally. John, appreciate a few minutes, and how are you, my friend?
I'm doing well, Zach. Good to talk to you, my man. And, boy, are you insightful, because it absolutely is a must-win. Don't win this one, you can kiss goodbye any chance of playing real meaningful games in December.
Yeah, I agree. And some people this week, I've heard them say it's not a must-win, but this is a team.
Crazy.
Yeah, I agree, especially with the way it started. This was a team that was 3-0, and then ever since the bye, they haven't been the same team. I know that there's no breakaway teams really this year. There's not a lot of outliers this year in the National Football League. This is a must-win, though, John.
Well, I mean, you dropped to a fifth loss this week. You're at least 3 wins behind the Dallas Cowboys at that point. So you can kiss your season goodbye about it being a division champion. And then start looking at the wild card. You're currently staring at 2 teams in your own division that are ahead of you in the wild card race. Oh, and by the way, both of those teams have already beaten you. They've already got that. I know everybody keeps pointing to the December games that they've got at home. So that's like those games are going to mean nothing if you don't win this game against the Falcons on Sunday. They will mean 0, because I don't see you rattling off like 3 of the next 4. So you got to win this one.
Isn't it amazing, though, if the season ended today, 3 teams in the NFC East would be in the playoffs? I would have never seen that before the year, John.
I had to. Now, I will take credit for the fact that I had 2 teams in the NFC East in the playoffs.
Who were they?
Before the year. I had the Giants and I had the Redskins.
Wow.
So, strangely enough, I totally missed the boat on the Cowboys, because I really didn't expect Tony Romo to be a healthy, strong, the competitor we've seen before. I thought Dallas would struggle a bit, even defensively. I missed the boat on them, and I still am not convinced. I think Dallas is the most complete team in the NFC. If you're talking about every unit, they have the least weaknesses of any team in the NFC. But I also do not think they're a great team by any stretch of the imagination. And I would think by playoff time, that's like a 5-loss Dallas team. So they're going to lose some games. It's just a matter of when and where. And I'll guarantee you right now, I don't care what the circumstance, they'll lose in Philly on New Year's Day. Don't care what the circumstance is.
Wow, okay. I like the sound of that, because I like to see Jerry Jones be disappointed when he comes and visit Philadelphia. Will he be dumb enough to put Romo back in and take Prescott out?
I do think at some point Dallas will blink. And I am totally in the minority here, may look like a fool. But if the Cowboys were to lose a couple games, you know how the media cycle turns. And you also know how impulsive Jerry Jones can be. And it would have to be my belief that Tony Romo has got Jerry Jones's ear saying, hey, I'm ready. Whenever you need me, I'll be ready. Whenever he slips up, I'll be ready. Because I don't believe Tony Romo is just sitting there saying, you know what, this kid's doing a great job. I'm totally about the team. I love Tony Romo and what he brings to an organization. I think he's a good guy. But every competitor wants to play, and I guarantee you that the first blink that Dak Prescott isn't the guy or starts to have a hiccup, Tony Romo talk will go fast and furious, and I predict he will start at least 1 game, if not 2, by the end of the season.
I wonder in this process, when Romo's been out with the injury, and this has been a few years that he's been injured, I wonder if he reaches out to Drew Bledsoe and talk about how Drew dealt with this when Tom Brady was given that starting position back in 2001 for the Pats.
Well, the only thing, Zach, that I'd say about that is that Tony, I think, is further along down the road. I mean, Drew Bledsoe felt he had a lot left in the tank. By all accounts, if I had talked to you in the summertime, what would we have said? 2 more years of Tony Romo?
Probably. Yeah, that's fair.
So I think it's a little bit different when you talk about what happened with Bledsoe. But I know Tony Romo is a hell of a competitor, and I know he wants to be in there. It's not all going to be harmonious in Dallas, and I do think they will lose this weekend in Pittsburgh.
Okay, I could see that too. Big Ben bouncing back after the tough game against the Ravens last week. Yeah, I could definitely see that. John Kincade with us right now on the Zach Gelb Show, Fox Sports 920 The Jersey. John, let's get to this Falcons team. Where did you think they would be before the year, and how surprised are you with their success so far through this season?
Well, very surprised, as they are 6-3, and I told my listeners that I couldn't find 8 wins. I said 7-9 before the year, so I am absolutely, shocked, as are a lot of people. I never thought that they would go through the gauntlet of, having to go to Denver and then win. And honestly, they got totally screwed out of a victory in Seattle. They outplayed the Seattle Seahawks. And that was a pass interference call on Julio Jones, and they have one of the best kickers in the game. They lost by a point. They would have won that game. So right now, the Atlanta Falcons could easily have 2 losses. And so I'm as shocked as anybody. But Dan Quinn has got a team that has a prolific offense. But let me tell you, Zach, there are major problems with this Falcons defense, and there will be plenty of plays to be made on Sunday afternoon for Zach Ertz especially. I'm looking at Zach Ertz on Sunday, and I'm looking at Darren Sproles is another one. And I can tell you this, I feel very, very good about what Carson Wentz is going to be able to play with on Sunday afternoon.
Here's the problem, though, John, with this Eagles offense. Okay. I love Carson Wentz. He has nothing around him, no help whatsoever. The Giants gave a blueprint last week, and I know the Falcons' defense isn't good, but you just blitz, and those wide receivers, they have no time to get open, and then Wentz is going to get hurried. He has no help right now, and that's going to be a problem on Sunday, I think.
Oh, it's a problem. I mean, but Zach, I'm going to tell you, it's going to be a problem for this team in games. I do not believe it's going to be a problem on Sunday. I really don't. I've watched this Falcons defense every single snap, every single game. Obviously I'm around this team closely, and I can tell you I would have strong concerns if I was a Falcon fan about going into this matchup, because their pass rush is sporadic at best, and so I don't think they really exploit the weakness right now as that shaky offensive line unit at times. The one thing I worry about from a Eagles standpoint is that they are much more one-dimensional because they can't just run the football. I have no idea. You may solve the mystery of Ryan Matthews to me about why they're not giving him more carries. I know he fumbled in that Detroit game, and they maybe have some concerns about him, but I'm baffled as to their use of Matthews. And I think the Eagles, though, are in for a big day on Sunday. I don't want to be overconfident, Zach, but I know both teams. I've watched every single snap of every single Eagles game as I do, as they are my favorite team. And I got to tell you that I see an Eagle victory on Sunday. I really do.
And I know the fans of my audience in South Jersey and Philadelphia, they're rejoicing right now. They're loving it. Just because we're talking about the running backs, and you're right, it is an enigma. Matthews got to hold on to the football, but he should be seeing more time, because to me, Darren Sproles, really nice player, really good, but you got to use him in small doses. I'll take it back to the offseason. Was it a mistake letting DeMarco Murray go?
From the looks of things now, yes. But and you've got to wonder if DeMarco Murray in this offense and this scheme would have been great. That's one. I'm just so pro Howie right now, and Howie and I have had a love-hate relationship at times, because overall I still think Howie Roseman's done a fine job for this organization, even though there are some major swings and misses. But this offseason though, I'm very bullish on the future. And I'm very excited about it. And I doubted the Wentz move, so I'm very excited about what I'm seeing. Just they're going to need offensive pieces, and it's not going to work, and it's not going to be Terrell Owens, and you can't do stuff like that. And I'm seeing that today.
Yeah.
Theo, our Atlanta neighbor down here, but I don't know if he's going to try to make that move or not. But I'm very bullish on the future. I really like what I'm seeing out of this Eagles organization now. And gosh, with Wentz, I finally feel like you've got that piece, you've got that guy that they can build around. And I haven't lost any faith in him at all in his struggles the last few weeks. I don't care that he threw 2 interceptions last week. I saw Peyton Manning throw 29 in his rookie year. So give me a break if you're talking about Carson Wentz like the wheels are falling off from some of these people. They're ridiculous. He's a youngster. He's going to grow. He's going to get confused at times. I was more impressed that when it was 14-0 last week, he didn't wilt. He didn't get shattered. He didn't go into when the Eagles torment Eli Manning, he usually gives them then more. It usually carries into the third quarter, the fourth quarter. I was impressed that Carson Wentz didn't blink and kept getting better last week.
There's no question. I had this team at 6-7 wins before the year, and they're already at 4.
Yeah, I said 6, by the way.
Yeah,
I said 6.
He's already exceeded my expectations. He's been a really good player, and the way he makes the players around him that don't have a lot of talent that good to look this good, and have them look great, is something that is very impressive. John Kincade with us on the Zach Gelb Show. Let's get back, though, to the Falcons quarterback. That's Matt Ryan. Last year, 21 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. I know they got off to that quick start, and then they were just awful down the stretch. What's the biggest difference from last year to this year with Matt Ryan?
Well, Matt Ryan has been, first of all, Exton's own Matt Ryan, the 19341. Very excited to have Matt there. Matt Ryan is a different quarterback this year because just look at the interception number and look at the deep ball number. Right now, he's the best quarterback in the NFL throwing the deep ball. Last year, at this exact same time, even though the Falcons were 6-3, he was one of the least accurate quarterbacks at throwing the deep ball in the NFL. He also was a guy last year that turned the ball over a ton. This year, through 9 games, he's thrown 4 interceptions. He's a different guy. He's done a really, really nice job, but there's a lot of reasons for that. Alex Mack, coming in here as the free agent center from Cleveland, was just one of the best expenditures that ever could have been made. I would have loved to have seen the Eagles make a run at it because I think it would have been a good pickup. But especially with center play this year being a bit of a struggle from week to week. But the Falcons, once he got a competent center, and Jake Matthews, his left tackle, has gotten better in year 3 now of his career. He's gotten better. It's just an offensive line that is gelled. And they also had Tevin Coleman. So they had another option in the sort of the short passing game. When you think Tevin Coleman from the Falcons, who's been a big asset this year behind Devontae Freeman, think of him as their Brian Westbrook. But Coleman will not play on Sunday. He is out for the game. Jacob Tamme, their starting tight end, is out for the game. Desmond Trufant, starting cornerback, who was really a Pro Bowl caliber type corner so far this year, not playing in the game. I think there's just a lot of things that do not bode well for Atlanta in this matchup.
Is Ryan the MVP, though, of the league right now?
Yes,
would you say MVP?
Hands down. Hands down. I can't think of another player that you could even make the argument for. And I don't want to hear one I'll keep my language clean. I don't want to hear one word about Tom Brady.
That's my guy.
The MVP. You can't. Well, Tom Brady cannot be the MVP. You can't be considered student of the year at Zach Gelb High School if you were suspended for the first quarter of the school year. So you should never even be in the discussion as an MVP. Oh, and by the way, that head coach and that team in New England, they won 2 games with Jimmy Garoppolo and 1 game with Jacoby Brissett. So they had a 750 winning percentage without Brady. So I don't need to hear that Brady's the MVP. Matt Ryan, the Falcons live and die by their quarterback play, and he has been absolutely exceptional. And look, I've been highly critical of Matt. I'm surprised he still follows me on Twitter, but we're Philly boys, so we have that in common. But I'm telling you, because I had to be really critical the last couple of years. His game had really backslid, but he has done a great job at improving. I'm very proud of where Matt is right now, and he is the MVP, and I don't want to hear one other name. Not one other name needs to come into the conversation.
He's the MVP right now. I do agree with that. We'll see where it is at the end of the season. What would it take, though? What would it take, though, for Brady to win the MVP in your mind this year? Could there be anything that will make you give him the MVP?
Nothing.
Even if he has better numbers than Ryan at the end of the year, let's just say. Let's say Ryan struggles down the stretch. Nothing. Not
under consideration. No, he was suspended for a quarter of the season. He is not under consideration for an MVP. Look, if he was at Zach Gelb High School, he wouldn't be up to be valedictorian either.
How about the Super Bowl MVP this year? Is that okay?
Well, he might. Maybe he can win. Maybe he can win Super Bowl MVP, regular season MVP. You have to sit out because of your poor behavior. You ain't getting the MVP from me. But I can tell you this right now: their Eagles win this game. December is on. December is on. Those games will mean something, and at least they will go into December with a chance to do something, with a chance to accomplish something, and that is so exciting to even think about. I can't wait. I mean, I'm really excited, very excited to be there on Sunday, and I can't wait. And I'm telling you right now, mark it down, 31-23, the Eagles win this game, and I don't believe you're going to be biting your nails till the last minute. I really don't.
It wouldn't surprise me because they're at home and they haven't lost at home this year. The reason, though, I'm picking the Falcons in this game is just because I don't see how they're going to be able to guard Julio Jones. I know they're going to need a good pass rush, but this Eagles secondary right now, they're decimated with injuries, John.
Well, the one thing is, though, is that it's just I don't think they're as difficult a team to defend when you're talking about one running back option. So you don't have Tevin Coleman and Devontae Freeman on the field at the same time, which causes defenses early this year just nonsense in matchups. Because you had Julio Jones, you had Devontae Freeman, and you had Tevin Coleman. And Tevin Coleman ran free in some big games. He's not there Sunday. So the starting tight end, even though Austin Hooper is going to be in there, this kid's a work in progress. So you don't have your starting tight end. You don't have your other running back. I'm telling you right now, Zach, on Monday, you can tell your listeners, I'm a smart host, but I missed this one. Because I'm telling well, believe me, I do it all the time. I've just been doing it a lot longer than you have. I have a real good feeling about Sunday. I think Eagles fans are going to be very happy by Sunday around 4:20 in the afternoon.
Hey, I've been calling myself a jackass since I came out of the womb, so there you go with that. I'm not afraid.
That's the way it works.
Yeah.
Hey, believe me, back in Broomall, they still yell it to me as I drive in my hometown, so I know that.
Now, I have to take care of a few housekeeping notes before we let you go,
Sure.
John Kincade. Away from the Eagles-Falcons game, how the heck did you develop this good of a relationship with Shaquille O'Neal?
I got to tell you, it's a strange story. Thanks for the mention, because the big podcast with Shaq, which I co-host with Shaquille O'Neal, it's been a breakout hit. We were number one on iTunes last year, new debuting sports podcast. And anyone who listens knows we're not a sports podcast. But Shaq happens to live here in Atlanta, and he was looking to do a podcast. He had interviewed a bunch of people to co-host a podcast with, and he wasn't gelling with any of them. And God bless Ernie Johnson Jr., who suggested to him, did you talk to John Kincade? And he knew my work from ESPN, from my years with ESPN radio for years, but he didn't know that I even lived in Atlanta because he doesn't listen to local sports talk radio. So he invited me to dinner, and so I told my wife about it, and I said, guess what? Shaq is going to launch a podcast, and he wanted to sort of have a chance to talk to me about being his co-host. She said, you think he'll do it with you? And I said, oh, absolutely not. But I'm going to be able to tell my grandchildren that I had dinner with Shaquille O'Neal.
What was that dinner?
And we went to dinner, and it was hours later. My wife was checking on me, and I'm like, guess what? We're going to do business together. And it has been a blast. He is one of the most wonderful human beings you could ever imagine, is all I can tell you. He is one of the most beautiful people I've ever known. He has a big heart. He is one of the most charitable, intelligent, 3-degreed men who you could ever meet. For a kid from Delaware County to have gotten to cross paths with Shaq and to do a business venture with him, I am truly, truly blessed, because it's a lot of fun. And all we do is clown around. That's all we do. And plus, we're going to do a walk-on. We're supposed to schedule to do a walk-on on General Hospital next year, so a life-come-true bucket list item is going to walk off for us. It'll be great.
How about that? So two things off that. One, what did you guys have for dinner, and did Shaq pick up the bill?
Of course he picked up the bill.
Just making sure.
I don't. He has a lot of businesses in town, so there was like a local place that actually brought the food over for us, which was cool. Like they brought them over. I think I had like a chicken sandwich and like a side Caesar. So believe me, I've gotten into Shaq's pocket for more than that after that point. But when he's just he's extremely charitable. He is a fantastic guy. And now my soon-to-be 13-year-old daughter has an Uncle Shaq, which is really always a lot of fun too. And she gets to talk about her Uncle Shaq and go see him at the studio. And my 87-year-old mom back in Philly, she absolutely loved hanging out with Shaquille O'Neal, and he's just a great guy. And it's a lot of fun. If anybody hasn't listened, just Google Big Podcast with Shaq. We have a great time every week, a lot of clowning around.
John Kincade, final one for you. I have to bring up my Temple Owls. I've only been mad with you actually once in my life, and that was the day that I saw you tweet out something like Temple should drop down a level of college football. And just how about the Temple Owls' success, though, right now? Because I thought last year was impressive. This year I think it's even more impressive, John. I'm
more impressed this year also. It's strange that you say that, because I wouldn't have thought that'd be your take, because I haven't heard a lot of people come with that. I do believe this year is more special, because this is the year where expectations were on their shoulders to not let it drop off. Because the sports world was waiting to see this whole thing drop off. And we did interact at that time on that. And I'll tell you this much, as a proud member and proud supporter of Temple Athletics, I absolutely believed that. Because for me, Temple Athletics at the time was dropping the ball in a big, big way. And I think they weren't focusing on the things that mattered. And thankfully now, it seems like they are, paying good attention to this. And with the success that Penn State's having this year, believe me, that's my fear all the time, is that Coach Rule will walk out the door.
Not going to happen.
And then
not to Penn State. It just won't happen. I'm telling you. I'm in denial.
No, it's not. It's not. No, well, how about it this way? Hey, just Coach Franklin keeps winning. And then that takes it out of the mix, because Matt Rule has been a godsend. And don't forget, we got to make sure that it wasn't all Matt. Matt took over a situation that had been proven you could put together a good team. He's taken it to another level, though. I am so proud of them, and I can't wait. I'm looking forward to a conference championship game. And that's what I'm hoping for. And I'm hoping that Navy trips up so they can actually have it in Philadelphia.
Yeah, no, that would be fun. You also got to watch out for Tulsa a little bit. Tulsa Navy does play this weekend. But, John, you're the best. Enjoy the trip to Philly this weekend. Thanks for a few minutes.
Look, I can't wait. And Monday, you just tell your listeners, you should have listened to Kincade.
You got it, John. Thanks so much. John Kincade joining us on the Zach Gelb Show. Fox Sports 920 The Jersey. You're listening to WNJE Trenton, Philadelphia. Have to do the legal ID right there. Fox Sports 920 The Jersey, because we went a little bit long with John Kincade, but deservingly so. That was a fun spot with the Atlanta talk show host, but a big-time Eagle fan being a local guy. Time right now in the Princeton Orthopedic Associates studios, 5:02. We'll take a quick break. When we get back, we have NFL picks. And coming up in the 5 o'clock hour later on in the show, Mark Eckel from NJ.com will join us.